Always faffing, aren't you? I'm hungry. I am hungry. Oh, it is good to be back out with you, isn't it? I never thought I'd miss you as much as I did, to be fair. Oh, well, here we are, and we are at Mustang Lake in the middle of Norfolk. We've come to do like an update thing, really. It's been a strange old year in the land of Iain Macmillan. So I guess we're kind of calling this back in the saddle, aren't we? Because it's not the first time we've been out. It's the first time we've been out since my surgery. So we're going to talk a bit about the cancer and a bit about what we're doing and what going forward. But so yeah, we obviously the devastating news in January, and to be fair, fishing just completely went out the window from there on. I was so focused on chemotherapy and then the surgery, and then the path that we've been told by the experts that was going to be a cure, if you like. So we've had the surgery. I know you've just seen a CARP because you're looking. I've just heard a bird squawk.
Just over the left of your
So that was the plan going forward. Now, obviously, we had the surgery and they've gone in and they found a load more cells that don't show up on the scan, and they've deemed it as incurable. Now, whilst that sounds absolutely horrific, and it is absolutely horrific because we've had a terrible time, but now it seems crazy to sit here and say it, but we're not even 4 months on from my surgery, and I'm loving life again, and I'm out fishing, and I don't want to keep banging on about cancer, because whilst I'm not okay with the fact that the outcome is going to be what it is, I've accepted that, and I've accepted it, and people read what I write on social media, and I've taken so much comfort and love from other people on social media. And a lot of people say, oh, you're inspirational, Tong, and you're this, and the people that are inspirational are you people that have made me find the inner strength to just carry on. And despite all that's going to happen in the future, I'm back, and I'm loving my fishing, and I'm loving spending time not just with Kathy and my family, but my close friends. And the fishing, I can't begin to tell you how much fishing has been instrumental in putting me back in this really, really positive place that I'm in now. And I've probably been back on the bank probably 5 to 6 weeks now, and I've had some nice fish. I've had one blank, but that doesn't really matter. Everything in my life has a totally different meaning now. The way I look at Mozza, the way I look at which is kind of a rational decision, really, because the way I look at Mozza varies from hour to hour. But the way I look at nature, the way I look at my fishing, the way I look at really what matters in life and what doesn't. And what matters to me now is enjoyment and spending quality time with people that I love and with people that love me. And I guess that includes everybody within my massive wide circle of friends and family. And I've said before that words, I'll never be able to find the words that mean so much for what people have done for me and how other people have lifted me with their kind words and their love and their care and their attention, and just the hundreds of messages that I've had from people that have got cancer or had it and are in remission. And that is inspirational to me, you know. And so whilst I don't think I'm inspirational, I get that other people think that I am, and people say, oh, you're strong, and believe me, you know, sometimes I'm not strong, and sometimes my whole world falls apart, and I get really down, but then I snap out of it, because I think there's a lot of people out there that are a lot worse off than me. You know, my life will be cut short by however long, we don't know, but I've accepted that. You know, there's two things in life that are a dead cert, and that is death and tax. Now, which is a bit of a bleak outlook on life, isn't it, Moz? But right, so get off cancer. It is what it is, and I'm on long-term chemotherapy now for the rest of my life, and whilst that does kick it out of me at times, and you know, I get quite a few side effects with, and I've got my glasses, and I'll take them off, because whilst it's not bad, but one of the targeted chemotherapy drugs, it can bring out a rash on your face, and I'm very paranoid, which is why I've got a somewhat grey beard, because it hides some of the blemishes that the side effect is. And whilst, you know, like a good friend of mine, Matt Preston, said, they're your war wounds, you know, you should wear them with pride, but it just makes you a bit self-conscious about yourself. Hence why the glasses, so I'm going to put them back on.
Which you've always been, I suppose. Even from day one on the old open access, you were banging on about bloody moisturising.
Yeah, but you know, I look at it and like, this is why I look 23 and I'm 48, and you look 60 and you're 17, because you don't moisturise. But this, I mean, I'm with good people. There's 6 of us at Mustang. I'm here for a few days, the lads are here for 6 days. We've not caught nothing yet. Do I care? Not one bit. Really don't care, because I'm with Mozza, I'm with Lloyd, I'm with Dave Beach, I'm with Marv, I'm with Egg, I'm with good people that love me for what I am and who I am. And I'll never be able to repay that to these people, because it's people like that, all the people that came to visit me in hospital, and whilst it was an absolutely time and it was awful, but it was other people that pulled me through. And I will be eternally grateful for that, and to every single one of you that's messaged. So moving forward, let's talk about fishing. Business as usual. I go from here on the Thursday, go home. I'm off to France on the Friday for a week to Mike Dagnall's Lake, again with good people, and we'll have a thoroughly good time. So I guess then the only thing that I really struggle with fatigue now. I've come to that age and the position in my health that I've got a power porter, so it just makes my life easier, so that I can get around better, you know, because I've got no strength and I get really tired really quickly from the chemotherapy. But I ain't going to let it stop me. I'm determined to just push on with me fishing until such time as I can't do that, you know. And that's going to be with good people. No bitching, no backstabbing, no sniping, just surrounded by love, good people, and people that care for me, and long may that continue. So where does this leave me with DNA? So we're going to kick back in next spring, God willing, with the OAS, which is, it's going to be weird, isn't it? Because we haven't done it for quite a while. And I said to Moz earlier, I said, well, do you think it'll be the same? Because I have changed as a person, but then I haven't, because I'm still utterly retarded in every way. So it will just be like riding a bike, you know. It's just, I didn't know if I would enjoy fishing. The first couple of nights I did at Millbrook, I struggled to sleep. I was anxious, and I only went to Millbrook because it's 5 miles from my house. So I thought, well, if my head falls off, I could just go home, but it didn't. And obviously since then I've built, and I've done a couple of nights on a few occasions, and it's been good. Really enjoyed it, you know, really enjoyed the surroundings, caught some nice fish, and I've smiled and I've laughed a lot, which is what my life needs. So I guess, you know, what can you draw from this? You know, everybody has bad times in their life, but it's how you bounce back from them. You know, it's what makes you a stronger person. And there's a famous Latin saying called carpe diem, which is Latin for seize the day. So don't look back at what's gone on. Don't look forward, because you can't change anything. You know, live for today and surround yourself with good people and do what you enjoy doing, you know. And And I can't, fishing has lifted me so much. And it hasn't just lifted me, it's lifted all the close people around my circle. So my mum, Kathy, because they're seeing me happy. They're seeing me smiling, they're seeing me enjoying life again. And yes, there's always that niggling thing in the back of your mind that cancer is always there, but there's lots of people, there's thousands of people in the world that live with incurable diseases for however long that may be. And I'm just one of them people now. But one of the surgeons said to me in hospital before we left, he said, don't let cancer take another day from you. You know, and that basically means go out there and live your life. Don't let it take anything else from you. Just kind of fight it head on. And I think a positive mental attitude and laughter and surrounding yourself with good people, it's infectious. It just breeds positivity. And you tend to, you know, it's always there. Me and Kathy talk about cancer a lot. I talk about cancer a lot with other people, but I talk about it in a very flippant way that I ain't going to let it take anything else from me until such time it does take something from me, if that makes sense. And if I could accept that, then, you know, I think other people can accept that too. And whether it's inspirational, maybe, but believe you me, you know, there's a lot more people that have been inspirational to me through my journey so far than I think I have to them. I'm just me, and I'm just carrying on my life, if that makes sense. And but fishing and the people around me, and I remember that Jason and Paul from DNA came to see me at home. I'd only been out of hospital a couple of days, and one of the first things I said to him, and I did swear, and I won't swear now, you know, I was determined not to just, I'm like, well, however long I've got left, I'm determined to live my life as positively and as happily as I can. And I think I've bounced back pretty well from what news we were told after the surgery. But I couldn't have done that without the support of not just me close family and my friends, but my sponsors within what I do for a living. And it is time to get back in the saddle. You know, I've done enough recovering from the operation and kind of thinking, well, I don't want to go out fishing because what if I get bitten? Because obviously with chemotherapy, you've got no immune system. So if you're sort of open to infections and things like that, and then you think, well, no, sod it. I ain't gonna sit around at home crying in my porridge, if that's one for the porridge. Because then cancer's taken something else from you. It's taken that enjoyment side from you. And fishing is my whole life, you know, to a certain degree. And long may that continue. So I can't wait for the OAS. We've got a list of venues. We're going to do a couple of winter series. We'll have to play it by ear, because what I do feel, I've lost 1.5 stone since the summer, and I think that's primarily due to probably stress and a couple of the side effects from the chemo as you get a bit of nausea, so you're not feeling like eating. So I'm conscious of that, but I think because I've lost weight, I feel the cold a lot more. Like now, it's middle of October, and I've had my long johns and my thermal suit on underneath this since we got here. And like Marv earlier, he's walking around in a t-shirt, you know. But he is from Sheffield. He is northern. Yeah, he is. He's got plenty of blubber on him. So I'm just mindful that I've put measures in place. I've got plenty of warm clothing, and I'm just not going to put myself at risk where I might be marooned in the middle of nowhere for a 48-hour session in the middle of January. Just think, well, I just won't go. Yeah, it's one of them really. But so yeah, we're off to France. We're going to film the winter series, a couple of winter series that Mozza and Bonesy have got me penciled in for. Show season will be on as soon, so I will certainly be on the stand at the NAS for DNA. I went last year for 1 day, and again, health-wise, hopefully I'll be there for 2 days this year. It was a really good buzz. The show was just immense. The DNA stand was rammed. I think they sent 2 vans back, didn't they, Moz, on the Saturday afternoon to get more bait?
So it's normally that procedure.
Yeah, they're very interactive, aren't they, at the shows? The deals are there. It's a great atmosphere. So yeah, it's just, and I think for me now, I've almost blocked it out in my mind. You know, of course, it's always there. It's always there. You know, probably the first thing I think of when I open my eyes, and the last thing I think of when I close my eyes. But I've accepted it now, and I think that's part of carrying on forward, is accepting your fate, if you like, and not to be too flippant about it. We all die. It's just a matter of time. Me and Kathy have spoke a lot about this, and whilst nobody knows when they're going to die, I sort of semi know my path now, and of course I'm not okay with that. But you have to accept it because that's the cards that you're dealt, you know. And if I can take inspiration and comfort from the angling world, then all power to my arm, I guess. And it's absolutely so uplifting. I mean, so uplifting. Not just the support from the general public, but you know, DNA have been so good. Since my diagnosis in January, there was no pressure. They've carried on paying me. So from a financial side of things, me and Kathy have been secure. We haven't had to worry about that, because despite what all these adverts say about Macmillan Cancer and financial help, believe you me, when you start digging into things, that for people like me, that you know, there isn't a lot of help. I mean, just for one example, I was having chemotherapy before my surgery, and you've got like a Macmillan cancer rep that comes round, if you like, and he just chats away, seeing how you are, and he said, can we help you with anything? And I went, well, what about gardening and things like that? Because when I come out of hospital, because they cut me right down the middle, they basically cut through all your stomach muscles, so you can't do anything, you can't lift, you could hardly walk. So he said, oh yeah, you can get help with gardening and things like that. So I thought, well, can you do a bit of digging for me? So he's gone away, he's come back into the chemotherapy ward 20 minutes later, and he said, a bit of bad news, I'm afraid. You know, go on, you're too young to sort of qualify for any help with gardening. To which I said, well, I'll tell you what, you just jog on now. And I said, I'll come back to you in 20 years' time when I qualify that I'm old enough to get help with cancer for my garden. Oh, my garden's tiny. You could cut the grass with a pair of scissors in 20 minutes.
I bet you do.
I do, because then it's meticulously level.
Yeah.
So the financial support, or the lack of having to worry financially because of the support of people like DNA and Century and PB has been just magnificent, because it's something that me and Kathy haven't had to worry about. Which again just puts you in a better place. It's one less thing that you don't have to kind of think, well, what am I going to pay that? Am I going to pay this? And just absolutely amazing. And I will never be able to thank people like Jason, Steve and Paul. And it's not about naming individual people, because there's so many people that have been instrumental in helping me since January, even in the most minute sort of words, or a message of a stranger I've never met on social media, who it can move me to tears, and it suddenly puts your whole life into context and about what really matters and what doesn't matter. And for me, going forward, it's about spending time with good people, not chasing 40 and 50 pounders around the country anymore, because I aren't like that anymore. You know, I haven't got the time, because what I want to do now is I want to get back in the saddle, and I'm working. Obviously, I'm out filming with Moz. I just want my life to be as normal as possible for as long as possible, with the best people possible. And as the saying goes, having the most lovely of times. No, too far! No, someone's touching me bumhole! You ready, Moz? Don't, who's that? Fatty? That's you, Dave. Oh, look at, you ready? Yeah. Right, well that is what it's all about. £33.12 of Mustang Mega Mirror. But it's not about the fish, it's about the people that are around me. Lovely times with lovely people. Somebody's touching me bottom. I think it's Dave. I'm getting full back. But mega carp, mega conditions, but it's all about the company for me. Mega fish.
Well done.
You weren't supposed to say anything. You're like the mute friend.